So, how do you know you don't know something? I mean, most of us go into things, doing things, and things as simple as boiling eggs. Did you know there's a right and wrong way to do it? Did you know when they say boiled eggs, you're not supposed to boil the water the whole time? Did you know that? And the reason I'm showing this, instead of showing eggs boiling or in hot water, I came out here to rip down some 2x4s to the 2x2s, working on the chicken coop. And I put this bucket, empty bucket, underneath there. And there was a lot of sawdust I had swept up before I started. You know, it's a good idea to clean up, and it just felt better walking around. But all the sawdust was coming out all around the machine, and hardly any was going into the bucket. And I didn't, I was just ripping the wood down, getting things set up, doing the work. And, I look down and there's, more sawdust flying around, coming out. Well, there was a bunch of cobwebs. You still see a little bit. But there was a whole bunch underneath here, and obviously something had clogged that. So, unplugged, got in there, got a little PVC pipe, kind of went in there, and a bunch just fell out. And after that, the sawdust was falling in here mainly, not all of it. So there's some routine maintenance. I know my husband, I don't think my husband's done it. He's not really used this that much. He's been using the hand circular saw more. He's not having to rip things down. He normally just has to cut them, so he's using a chop saw. But this definitely, I used it a lot last year. I'm using it again a lot today. But I need to check on the maintenance of this thing, because it's not safe. I mean, it was just a bunch of sawdust. You can see through now, and you couldn't before. So that was all building up. There was heat. It was probably a fire hazard easily. I came through with the clean paintbrush and just kind of brushed everything down when I was done, so to be ready for the next time, hopefully. But there's certain things you don't know. You don't know. I mean, you think you're doing something properly, but it's not. You've overlooked something. You were never told. You were never. It just hadn't come up. It's not mentioned in videos you've watched. It's not. Don't wear loose clothing, obviously, around any sort of machinery. Things like that I knew, but I didn't know to clean that out. So I'm back to cleaning up some while I'm waiting for some paint to dry. It's my first time using this product. And all but this center big one was from that auction video where I got it about a month or so ago. So this is all that plastic dip. This one's from my actual dish rack. It tends to dry fast. It says to let it dry. I'm not supposed to do this in full sun, but it's not a hot day. I think it's only going to get in the low 60s or mid 60s today. It's still, one of them was cracking real bad, and I try to take off some of the plastic. I'll sweep that up separately. So this can is used up, I think. But these are all going. I have all these boards for the chicken coop panels that I'm going to make. And when I rip them, I set it to the 1 3/4 inch, so it's a square. We say 2x2, but that's not 2x2. It's 1 3/4. But I ripped them all with flat on the 2x4 side, and then turned it over and ripped the other side. So all these furring strips that are under here don't have rounded edges. They're completely square because they're from the center. So all of these 2x2s have a rounded edge that was the sides of the 2x4s. And those will all, OCD, it probably doesn't really matter, but these will all be on the outside of the panels that I'm going to build. These panels are roughly, or not roughly, pretty much exactly 2 feet by 4 feet. The rails, or the shorter sides, are, because some of these are going to be put vertically, so they'll be 4 feet high. But I want to make sure that these get a nice, good coating, because these will be, some of these will be on the ground. Directly onto the ground. I do want to do some concrete, but that's going to be later. So even then, they still need to be protected. So I thought, instead of just wasting the this plasti dipped stuff and putting some sort of liner and throwing away the liner, I thought I'd try to get some onto the woods, and that's what I did. And I don't really care about this one. This was my least likely to be used piece. It's one of those you screw onto back of a door, cabinet door, and you put your aluminum foil or plastic wrap and those kind of bags, boxes on them. So this gets stored like that. Yeah. Those are the little screw holes. I'm more likely to use that hanging underneath the shelf somewhere. But I use that part of my kitchen dryer rack that I have over the sink, my Italian dish rack. I made enough, ran out of lumber. I've got enough to make 10 panels, which will be all 4 sides and the top. And maybe, I'm just debating on some stuff because I want to make it tall enough where I can walk in. I can, stoop and do a 4-foot clearance of the ceiling, but I would prefer a 6-foot. I'm 5'8". So that would be a lot more comfortable for me to get in and do some stuff and give them a little bit more height. I need 6 more panels to make it 8 feet long, which I can extend. And I'm doing a design that I've had in mind for over almost 2 years now to make a kind of a modular system, so you can play around with it. You can unscrew them and make them to where they're low, so you can make a tunnel run with them, or make it tall. I need to put the silkies into something safer. They're still going to stay inside that coop for now, but last night having to put them into with the chicks, they're really crowded. It's a 4x4 space. Even with the 5 adult silkies in the 4x4 space, whether it's 4 feet tall or 6 feet tall, it doesn't give them a lot of room. So I'm gonna play around with some stuff. So it started. So I got to get the that paint stirred up, and then I'll paint. Get a coat of paint onto those 2x2s. But how do you, going back to the, I mean, it's common sense, I'm sure, part of it, but I didn't know to, I came in here focused on doing a specific task and getting all these 2x2s 2x4s ripped down to 2x2s, and have a bunch of these little furring strips that I'm going to use them too. Nothing's going to get wasted. And having that happen, it's like, that could have been a dangerous situation. I'm sharing that because I'm sure you guys know, but there's a lot of people like me, not just because I'm a female. I never took wood shop. My father he didn't do any sort of woodworking. I don't think he even had a circular saw. I think my brothers got that when they were teens for their stuff that they wanted to do. So my father definitely didn't teach any of us, not just me because I was his daughter, but not my brothers either. My husband didn't take wood shop. He didn't have anyone teach him any of this stuff. This is actually my table saw. This over here is my chop saw. And then last year I bugged him about getting a larger chop saw because I couldn't cut the 1-foot shelving board with the other one, and I didn't like using the handsaw, and I wanted something that would come out. So this was a good deal, and then I got this at auction. So that helps. My husband's been playing around with it, and he's really glad I did this. But these are new things to us too, and a lot of times we go, well, I mean, what's there to learn? Except for a few safety things. I know I should use that guide thing, but I've actually had more problems when I was doing the kitchen remodel using that safety shield thing that goes over there, and I had more problems with using that, so it wouldn't do a kickback when it's, when you finally split the piece or something. But again, how do you not, I mean, what are some other things? I don't know that I don't know these things. So I don't know to look them up or to do them or to check it out. I watch videos a lot. I love how-to videos. And I'm going to watch some more because I'm going to look up table saw maintenance. And we've got the manuals for the other ones. I don't know where the manual for this thing is, though. I know how to use it. I know how to change the angle of the blade. I know how to raise the blade up and down. I know how to do all the stuff to use this, but I didn't know that, you need to watch out for that getting clogged. I already did about half of it before I realized that something was really, really wrong here, because that bucket should have gotten a lot more into it. That scares me about stuff, because it's like, I think I know, but what if I miss something really important? That's why mentoring is so important. I wish I can get someone to teach me. In fact, I just thought of somebody who might be good. I'm going to talk to him next Sunday. He does a lot of woodworking stuff. So I'm going to talk to him about this. I've talked to him about other things, and he's the one who really encouraged me to get these little Craig stuff, the pocket hole thing, and these little guides. And I've seen where people have men had made their own guides and all that, and watching the woodworking stuff, it's like, that's great. I'll buy it if I can buy it. I think I would spend more time trying to create that. So what else? Do you know? What happens when you find out you missed something important? That could have been seriously dangerous. Simple things like don't throw rags into a big bin in a restaurant. Those rags build up. It will spontaneously combust, just like compost. You have to be careful. Compost can get very hot. So I use that. Nothing goes to waste if I can help it. But it's got me a little unnerved, so I thought I'd share that. Sorry if I went a little bit. It's just that kind of stuff really freaks me out. It makes me concerned, and I've got to get this coop thing done. I've got to get this thing painted and assembled, and maybe tonight have them in that run, and some way to use the other one to connect them. All sorts of stuff. A lot going on. I just don't want to risk losing another of our silkies to a predator. So that's got me motivated, but this got me freaked out. Anyway, be a blessing and be blessed. If you've got some helpful suggestions or anything else I should be aware of that I may not know. And a lot of times, sometimes going back to the boiling egg things, if you're boiling your eggs for 15 minutes to get hard-boiled eggs, you're doing it wrong. Really, you are. That's not how you do hard-boiled eggs. And I'll make a video about that, but just know that that's wrong, and you may look it up and find that you're wasting energy and time, and there is a easier way to do it. Be a blessing and be blessed.